Hey, what is up guys? This is Josh the Gamer here coming at you with a brand new video. So today in this tutorial video for the Quorum game engine, we are going to be learning about vectors. Now, what is a vector?
Well, a vector is it's an object that has both a magnitude and a direction.
Now, these can be in a 2D and a 3D space. Quorum uses both of those. Quorum uses a two-dimensional vector and a three-dimensional vector. In this specific tutorial, I'm going to show you both of them because I was going to split them into two videos, but in the end, I thought, you know what? Why not just use them in the same tutorial video? So let's go ahead and do that. First, what you want to do is, in order to use a vector, you're going to want to import the vector2 and vector3 classes. So go ahead and do a use libraries.compute.vector2 and libraries.compute.vector3. So now that we have those imported, we can create objects for those. So vector2, vec2, and then vector3, vec3. Now, as of right now, there aren't really many things we can do with a vector in the current version of the game engine. However, when you are dealing with physics, vectors are used in physics, and when you're coding your own physics actions and stuff, excuse me, when you're coding your own physics actions, you can have them use vectors because you're going to need them. So in this video, I'm just going to kind of show you how you can use vectors, set the values and get those values, from the vectors and stuff. So then you will actually be ready for some physics, because physics use vectors pretty heavily, I'm not going to lie. So here we go. Let's go ahead and do a we're going to go into our create game action. We are going to go ahead and do vec2 colon, and then as you can see, we can have we can do a lot of things here. We can do an angle. So the angle action will pretty much compute the angle in degrees of the vector relative to the positive x-axis. You can do an angle passing it a vector 2. You can do angle in radians. Using a vector. You can clamp. This will pretty much this action clamps the length of the vector to be between the past minimum and maximum values. Now this will change the vector if the length of the vector is greater than the maximum or less than the minimum. You can do the cross product, distance, distance squared, dot product, equals at precision, get x, get y, all this stuff. What we want to do though is we want to set. What we want to do is we want to set x or set y, or we can just set and declare the values of x and y directly. So let's go ahead and just do a set. We're going to say 0, 0. Alright. And we can do a vec3. We can do the same thing. So 0, 0, 0. Alright. Now, what we're going to do is, I'm actually going to go ahead and get rid of this. And we can get rid of this add collision listener because I still had that from the previous tutorial. So now, in order to extract these coordinates from the vector, if you try to output vec2, it doesn't work because output will only work with primitive data types. But how do you get it to be a primitive data type when it's an object? Well, that's where the get x, get y, and get z actions come in. Those actions will extract the values from the x, y, and z positions within the vector. So for example, if we do output x colon space close quote plus vec2 colon, we're going to say get x. That will get the x value. Now we can do a we can concatenate a comma onto that, and then we can say y and vec to get y. So that's how you extract the x and y. However, what about the z? Well, the z works the exact same way. So let's go at output x colon space, just the same thing that we did with the vector 2. So except vec3 get x plus comma exactly the same that we did in the previous. Vec3 get y, and then now we need to do a z vec, and now you get the z by doing vec3 colon get z, and that will extract the z coordinate. However, I'm going to go ahead and change these parameters, that way you can actually tell the difference. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, save. And now, when we run it, when we save it, build it, and run it, as it creates the game, it'll go to the console and output those numbers in the vector. It's very useful stuff. And that's pretty much all you need to know right now about vectors. Why? Simply because in the next tutorials, in the next few tutorials, we are going to be learning about physics. We're going to be using the beta version of the Quorum physics engine. Now, this engine is not perfect. I will say that right now. The physics engine in the beta version of Quorum 5.0 is not perfect. There are going to be some glitches, and there are going to be some problems. So, when we do the physics, I'm going to, in the first physics tutorial video, I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the description of that for how to get the beta version of Quorum. If you want to live on the bleeding edge, I will say though that in order to use it, you have to use NetBeans 8.2 or later. As of today's date, May 4th, you need to use 8.2. So yeah, anyways guys, thank you all for watching, and we will see you all in the next video where we start doing some physics.